Hi, my name is Melissa. Welcome to another session of Youth Yoga. We're going to begin standing on our mats today, and I have turned so that I'm facing the long portion of the mat. We're beginning in a pose called mountain pose, which is a standing resting pose. So go ahead and take a minute to separate your feet so that they are at least hips width distance apart. Arms are next to the body, palms are open. Shoulders are low and relaxed. Take a minute to get a few nice deep breaths in and out through the nose, and make sure that you're carrying your weight evenly through both feet so that you're not tipping or leaning to one side or the other. We're pressing into the big toe, the pinky toe, and the heel of both feet. Like I mentioned, shoulders are low and relaxed. We're lengthening through the neck. We're lifting through the crown of the head. Good. We're breathing in and out through the nose, taking a minute to scan through the body from head to toe, bringing awareness to the different sensations in the body, noticing how we feel today, right now. Maybe you feel tired today, or maybe you have a lot of energy. Maybe your muscles are sore. Maybe you're feeling loose and relaxed. So take a minute just to notice how you feel. If you do find that you're holding tightness through any muscles in the body, try to use your breath out. Use the exhale to relax that specific group. So for example, if my legs are tight today, I will be relaxing my legs with each breath out. We're staying here for 2 more deep breaths in and out through the nose. And then starting just a little movement, we're swaying the arms from side to side. You can keep your feet planted, just swinging the arms, or you can pick up one heel and rotate, getting a little further of a range of motion. This is a really simple way just to start to get the blood flowing through the body, warming up the shoulders, the arms, the legs. We've got a couple more simple twists on each side. And we're coming back to center for a standing cat-cow. So keep those feet just like you have them. We're getting a little bend in both knees. The fingers come to the inside of the leg. The thumbs point out so that the elbows are wide and open. We're rounding the back, tucking the tailbone, dropping the chin. And then we're breathing into a cow stretch, pointing the tailbone to the back, looking up and inhaling. Here's the exhale, round and curl. Good. Breathe in, push the belly forward, look up, tilt the tailbone, deep breath in, and exhale. Good. A couple more times, connecting with our breath. Here's the last one, warming up that spine. Good. Go ahead and straighten back out. Turn to the top of your mat. Take a deep breath in. Sweep both arms up. We're breathing out into a forward fold. Swan diving down. Softening both knees. Send your arms back up. Good. We're leaving the right arm extended. The left hand comes to the left hip, and we tilt into a side bend. Being careful not to turn the shoulders in, but we're keeping the shoulders stacked so that the ribs are wide and open. Back to center. Breathe out. Drop your arm down. Breathe in. Circle sweep up. Exhale. Pour the ribs forward. Right away, soften the knees. Ground into the feet. Circle sweep the arms up. Now the left arm stays up. That right hand comes to the right hip. Tilt to your side bend, pausing here. Staying firmly planted through both feet. Back to center, drop the arms, circle sweep up. Exhale to a forward fold. From here, the right foot steps to the back, the left knee bends. We're grounding into the feet, coming up to a high lunge. Arms extend up toward the ceiling, and we sweep the arms back down. We're into a down dog. From a down dog, we float forward to a high plank. Shoulders line up over the wrists. We come into what's called a chaturanga or a low plank. Bend the elbows, hover. Good. Up dog, tops of the feet are on the mat. The toes point to the back. Legs are lifted. And then flip your feet. Come back to your down dog. Soften your knees, step the feet forward. Take a deep breath in, come all the way up. We're breathing out to a chair. Good, right away, straighten the knees, drop the arms, sweep up, breathe in. Good, exhale, swan dive forward. Now the left foot steps back, the right knee is bent. Here's our high lunge. Finding a down dog. Good, high plank. Low plank. Up dog. Flipping the feet, tailbone extends up to the ceiling, down dog. Soften the knees, step forward. Take a deep breath in, circle sweep up. And share. We've got one more set on each side. Breathing in, breathing out. The right foot steps back, high lunge. Nice job, down dog. Good, high plank. Low plank. Up dog. Down dog. Soften the knees, step forward. Circle sweep the arms up. And chair. Good, finishing off that second side. Left is back, high lunge, reaching up to the ceiling. Down dog. Good, high plank. Low plank. Up dog. Down dog, stepping forward. Reaching up. And chair. From chair, we're going to bring those palms in. So remain in the chair, but we're bringing those palms in to take some pressure off the low back. Couple breaths here, and we're taking it to a twist. Keeping those knees stacked on top of the ankles. We're taking our right elbow, we're crossing it over so that it's onto the left leg. Good, come back to center. Circle, sweep the arms all the way up. Palms come together, settle down into your chair. Pausing here. Now that left elbow travels over to the right leg. We're keeping our knees right next to each other. You'll notice that your outer knee is going to want to rotate forward. So keep those knees together. And we're twisting enough so that the palms are right in line with the middle of the ribs. Picking that elbow up, take a deep breath in, circle sweep the arms up, exhale to a forward fold. We're resting our hands on the mat, maybe on our shins or the legs. The head and neck can easily move around. One more deep breath. Ready. Knees, reverse swan dive up. Palms come together. We're rolling the shoulder blades back, pushing the tailbone forward, lifting the ribs up toward the ceiling. Anytime we're in a back bend, it's a shallow breath. So it's just a short inhale and a short exhale. Come back to center. Swan dive down. Take a breath in, lifting halfway up. So the torso is parallel to the ground. Hands rest on the shins or right above the knee, either one. 2 breaths here. Good. Bring those hands down. Step to your down dog. We're getting ready for a down dog split on the right. So take your right toes, point them to the back wall. Extend the leg up as high as you're able to. Bend the knee. Take a giant step through. And we're coming up to a high lunge. All 10 toes face the front. The feet are on 2 separate tracks. Shoulder blades pull down. Palms face each other. Lift through the fingers. Lift through the top of the head. We've got a nice bend in that front knee. We're anchoring or pushing into the back heel. We're coming back to a down dog split. So take those hands, drop them to the ground. Take your front foot, shoot it up and back, and then lower the leg down. Good. From here, float to a high plank or a kneeling plank. So here's a high plank. If you're doing a kneeling plank, you're in a tabletop with the hips forward. So choose whichever one you want. Either one is fine, a high plank or a kneeling plank. Tailbone sends up. We're into a down dog. Take your left foot, point the toes, lift the leg. Good. Bend the knee. Giant step forward. Grounding into the feet. Here's our high lunge. Building strength into the legs and flexibility into the shoulders. 2 more deep breaths. Reaching the arms to the side, palms find the mat. Take your front foot, shoot it up and back. Good. Lower that leg down. We've got the same thing one more time. Right leg extends. Bend the knee. Step through. High lunge. You can always skip that giant step through and drop to a tabletop instead, and then stand up from there into a high lunge. Good. Back to our down dog split. And one more time on the left. Really good for the glutes, the legs, and the low back. Two more breaths. Good. Finishing off that last down dog split. Lower the leg down. Coming into a tabletop. Before we rest in child's pose, it's a great spot for a drink. So take a minute to get some water. And when you're ready, go ahead and make your way down to a child's pose. We'll be staying here resting for about 8 breath cycles. Being mindful of the head and the neck. So if we're not bringing our forehead down to the mat today, we're stacking our fists and resting the forehead on the fists. Take 3 to 4 more deep breaths in and out through the nose. And rest is always welcome in a yoga practice. So at any time during our practice, you can drop down into child's pose, rest, and catch up at any time. And you can always stay here a little bit longer if you're not quite ready to move on yet. So do what's best for you today. If you're ready to move on, go ahead and come on up to a tabletop. And we're into a spinal balance. Joints are stacked on top of each other. We send the right arm out, thumb is on top, the left leg pushes to the back, toes point down. Being careful not to droop, not to overextend, but we've got a nice sharp line and the chin is tucked so we're looking down at the mat so that we've got length through the entire spine. Bending the knee, bending the elbow, tap under the belly, and then breathe in, shoot straight back out. Good. 3 more times. Tap. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tap. Lengthen. Tap. And extend. Good. Into a tabletop, change sides. The left arm reaches forward, the right foot presses back. Pausing here for a couple breaths. Reaching, stretching, extending, and lengthening. When you're ready, add 4 taps. Good. From a tabletop, tuck into a down dog. Take a minute to pedal the feet, pressing down one heel and then the other. We're pushing forward through those hands, dropping the ribs down towards the legs so that we release the upper back. Bringing the feet to stillness, take little steps, walking forward. Take a deep breath in, circle sweep the arms all the way up. Good, breathing out, drop those arms down. We're into a warrior 2. The right foot is in the front, the left foot is in the back. The heels are on the same line, front knee is bent, shoulders stack over the hips, sending the arms out parallel to the ground. We're straightening out the front knee, shifting into a triangle. So that right arm drops down, the left arm points up, shoulders are stacked. And then we're bending our left elbow and wrapping it around behind the back. Once you have your hand in place towards your right hip, spin the ribs up slightly so that they're pointing to where the wall and the ceiling meet. Trying to keep both legs straight. Continuing with that stable breath. Now the left arm points up, the right knee bends. Come back up to your warrior 2. And release the arms. Switching sides, the left foot is in the front. The right foot is in the back. Pointing the toes toward the middle of the top of your mat. Front knee is bent and rotated open towards those middle toes. Arms extend. Shoulders stay pressed down and relaxed. And we're looking over the left fingers. Straightening out that front knee, shift through your spine. The left arm comes down, the right arm points up, shoulders are stacked directly on top of each other. Bending the elbow, wrapping the arm around behind the back. We're spinning the rib cage up. Two more breaths. Good. Point that arm back up at the ceiling, bending the front knee, shoulders stack into a warrior two. And drop those arms down. The right foot steps to the front, the left foot is in the back. This time we're in a lunge, so remember in a lunge, the feet face the same direction. So the heels are not on the same line. The front knee is bent. Take a breath in, send the arms up. And then right away, we get ready for a pyramid. So we're straightening out the front knee, reach the arms to the side, hinge forward. Hands come down to the leg or framing the front foot. The right hip pushes back slightly and the left hip draws forward so that we're squaring out the low back. We're looking towards the shin so that we've got length in the back of the neck. 2 deep breaths. We're bending our front knee and dropping the back knee. So right away we've switched to a kneeling lunge. Arms extend. Shoulder blades pull down. When you're ready, bring your hands to your hips. We're scooching that front foot forward just a little bit, and we're pushing the hips forward so that we're opening and releasing through the psoas muscle and the hip flexors. Good. Bring that hip stacked back over the knee. Hands come down into a tabletop. Tuck the toes. Down dog. Soften those knees. Walk the feet forward. Good. Deep breath in. Circle sweep up. Exhale, dropping the arms down. We're into a high lunge again. The left foot is in the front. The right foot is in the back. Breathing in. Send the arms up. Right away, straighten out that front knee. Hinge forward. Into our pyramid. Resting the hands wherever they fall. The left hip pushes back. The right hip draws forward. Keeping that little tuck in the chin. We're pressing into the back heel, even though it's probably not touching. Check your toes. Make sure all 10 of them are pointed in the same direction. Taking it to our kneeling lunge, bend the front knee, drop the back knee. Breathe in, circle sweep both arms up. Keeping those hips stacked right now over the knee. Hands come to the hip, walking that front foot forward. Push the hips. Good. Stretching and opening through the hip. Two to three more deep breaths. Stacking the hips back over the knee. Come into your tabletop. Tuck your toes. Down dog. Good. Step the feet forward. Take a deep breath in. Circle sweeping up. And exhale, drop those hands. Good. Turning to the long side of the mat. We're coming into a standing pigeon. So the feet are going to be hips distance apart, and we're bending both of our knees, not as deeply as we would in a chair, but we've got a nice bend in the knees. I'm going to be shifting my weight onto my right foot and crossing my left ankle over. Palms come together to help with balance, and then I'm bending my right knee so that my hips settle down a little bit lower. Into a standing pigeon. The foot is flexed, toes point down. Be patient with yourself. Breathe. If you fall out of it, get right back into it. 3 more breaths. Good. Stepping out of it. Both feet are on the ground. Bend both knees. Switch your weight to your other leg. Cross that ankle. Press the palms. Bend the grounded knee. Three more breaths here. You can always use a wall for extra support. So anytime we're doing a standing balance, go ahead and step out of that. Feel free to just lean against your wall and do it that way instead. So that's just another option. We're onto a balancing airplane. We're shifting our weight onto our right foot. The left foot steps to the back. Arms are down, palms are open. We're hinging forward so that the body is shaped like a capital letter T. The left toes point to the back. The fingertips reach and extend to the back. Shoulders pull down away from the ears. Switching to a high lunge. Bending the front knee. Drop the back leg down and sweep the arms up. We've got a couple breaths here, and then we'll take it to a standing split. We're shifting our weight onto the front foot. Both hands come down. We extend the back leg up and straighten out the right leg. Top of the head points down. Lift the left leg as high up as you're able to. Good. Lowering that leg down. Soften the knees. Sweep the arms all the way up. Good. Breathe out, dropping down. Switching the weight to the left foot. The right foot steps to the back. Arms are down, palms are open. Balancing airplane. Usually one side is more cooperative than the other. Breathing. When you're ready, bend that front knee, drop the back foot, arms extend up into your high lunge. And shifting the weight to the front foot, palms come down to the mat, send that back leg up. Lowering that leg down, stay in a forward fold, and we're bending both of our knees so that we've moved the stretch into our low back. So straight legs is a regular forward fold. If you bend both knees and point your tailbone down, you should feel that stretch move into the low back. Palms can be on the mat or on your legs. And then straighten out into a regular forward fold. And bend both knees. Point the tailbone down. Good. Straightening back out. Both knees come into a tabletop. We're getting ready for a rest. So again, it's a great spot to grab a drink. And when you're ready, sink down into your child's pose. The hips press down towards the feet. Knees can be open or together. The arms can be extended, supporting the forehead, or tucked in next to the body. Reconnecting with the breath. Take a minute to scan through your body again, noticing how your different muscle groups and joints feel. We're taking 3 more deep breaths. Good, pressing back up. We're getting ready for a pose called garland, which is a stretch for the shoulders. I'll give a couple different options in case the first one is not comfortable for your knees. So if you're doing the first option, we're coming up into a squat, kind of like a frog or a baseball catcher. The heels can be lifted or the heels can be down, either way. We're taking our left shoulder, we're dropping it down, crossing it to the front, and then we're sending our right arm up and out on a diagonal. So we're looking up towards the right hand. If this does not feel good to your knees, you're going to come all the way down to sitting. Knees are bent, feet are on the mat. Reach around that front leg and send the arm up. So either one, you're getting a great stretch for the shoulders and the upper back. So choose which one is best for your body. Two to 3 more breaths. Good, same thing on the other side. So we're dropping that right arm down, crossing it in the front. The left arm sends up on a diagonal. Look up toward that left hand. Relaxing and releasing the bottom shoulder, opening and expanding the top shoulder. Good, bring those palms together, get a couple breaths here, and then we'll be coming into a forward fold, but we're getting into it backwards. Bringing the palms down to the mat, straighten out the knees, plant the heels, soften the knees, and circle sweep the arms up. Good, we're breathing out, dropping those hands down behind the back. We're making a fist. Finding the hip bones, feet are squarely planted on the mat. Press the tailbone forward and start to roll and round up through the back. So we're lifting the ribs up toward the ceiling, the shoulder blades pull toward the spine, the elbows draw towards each other. Shallow breath. Good, back to center. Breathe out into a forward fold. You can be still in your forward fold, or you can sway from side to side, whatever one is best. Taking a few breaths here, we'll be moving on to a pigeon in just a minute. 2 more deep breaths. From your forward fold, find a down dog. Once we're in a down dog, we'll be moving on to a down dog split. So point those right toes to the back, lift the leg nice and high, bend the knee, start to line the shoulders up over the wrist and cross the leg through. So that right leg is coming through on a diagonal. The back leg extends, the hips press down. You can stay upright here, or you can come down to your forearms in a sleeping pigeon, stacking the fists and resting the forehead. We want to be sure that the hips are staying squared to the mat. So if you feel like you've rolled onto one side or the other, it's a big misalignment for the joints. So try to keep those hips squared to the mat. And another quick option, if this is not good for your knees, you can roll onto your back and do a laying down pigeon, also known as a figure 4 stretch. So here's another option for knees. We're staying in pigeon or that sleeping pigeon for 6 to 8 breaths. 2 more breath cycles. We're getting out of this pose the same way we came into it. So palms come down, tuck your back toe, shoot that back leg up and out into your down dog split, and then lower the leg down. Same thing on the left. The left toes point to the back. Good. Bend the knee, float it forward, or flip onto your back, whichever you prefer. And take your time finding a comfortable spot in your pigeon. Keep reaching and extending through the back leg and the back toes. Low back, hips, and tailbone sink down towards the mat. Four more breaths. Good. Palms come to the mat. Tuck your back toe. Shoot that front leg up and back into your down dog split. And then lower the leg down. Come into a tabletop. Right away, we're dropping the belly, lifting the chin, breathing in. Exhale, round and curl into your cat stretch. Good. Drop the belly, lift the chin. Breathing in. Exhale, round. 2 more sets. Staying rounded in this cat back. Take a couple breaths here. And then keeping that rounded back, lower the hips down toward the heels. Keep the hands extending forward. And then we're back up to a tabletop. Drop the belly, lift the chin, pausing here in the cow stretch. Letting that low back completely release, being careful not to lock the elbows. And then pull the mid back up, rounding again. Hold the cat stretch. Lower the hips toward the heels. Staying with a good breath here. Back to a tabletop. Pausing in cow. And then finally rounding up to your cat stretch. Lower the hips down, staying with that rounded back. And then from here, sinking all the way down into your form of child's pose. We've got 8 breaths of rest. When you're ready, press yourself back up. We're coming all the way down to a seated position. If you'd like a drink, it's a good spot. Go ahead and grab one. And we'll be coming all the way down to sitting. We're extending our left leg out straight. The right knee is bent. The right elbow comes to the inside of the knee with the fingers pointing up. Take your left hand, reach it around behind your tailbone. We're coming into a twist. So start by turning the belly first, then the rib cage, then the shoulders, and finally the neck and the head, so that we're looking completely behind the body. We're coming out of that twist the opposite way. So turn the head first, then the shoulders, ribs, and belly. Same thing on the other side. The left knee comes up. The left hand comes to the inside of the knee. Take your right hand, reaching it around behind the body. Start your twist, moving low to high. Good. Coming out of that twist the opposite way. Sitting comfortably, the soles of the feet come together. We're into a butterfly stretch. We're starting by breathing in and lengthening through the back. So try to lift and extend up through the spine, out through the top of the head. When you're ready to breathe out, hinge forward so the low back stays completely stable. Hinging from the hip, lowering the ribs down toward the feet. With every exhale, try to relax into that stretch. The head and the neck are an extension of the spine, so we're being careful not to drop the chin down, not to crane the neck up, but keep everything in a nice sharp line. Staying here for 2 more deep breaths. Coming all the way up, we're rolling onto our back, knees are bent, soles of the feet are on the mat. Take your feet and walk them away from each other so that the soles of your feet, the center, or I should say the edges of the mat, are going through the centers of the soles of the feet. Knees are wide and open. We're opening those arms out to a T shape or out to a goalpost. And then we're dropping the knees down to the right so that the left hip comes up off the mat. And then point both knees straight back up to the ceiling. Drop the knees to the left so that the right hip comes up. This is called a windshield wiper stretch. You can flow it from side to side, or if you find tightness or tension through one hip or one spot in your low back, you might want to pause there for a couple breaths. We'll do 2 more sets on each side, moving at your own perfect pace. Good, here's our last set. Pointing both knees back up to the ceiling, we'll have our feet about hips distance apart. So soles of the feet are on the mat, knees are bent, and we're bringing our arms down next to the body with the palms in contact with the mat. We're coming into a spinal lift, and we're going to be working with the breath to help the pose. So start by taking a nice deep breath in through your nose. As you breathe out, ground into your feet and start to peel your tailbone up off the mat. So we're lifting that spine up as high as we comfortably can, maybe to the shoulders. And then we're slowly working our way back down. And then again, press into the feet. Use your exhale to lift your spine, starting low, working your way up. And lowering back down. Oh, my cat came to visit again. She loves yoga. This is Simone. Hi, Simone. Ground into the feet, lift those hips up. Good, pausing, feeling that stretch and strength in the low back, and work your way down. We've got the same thing 2 more times. So we're stretching the low back, we're working on the hip flexor group, and we're getting a good strength work through the glutes, the hamstrings, and the quads. So there's a lot going on here. Here's our final lift. Take a breath in. And then press into your feet as you're breathing out. Lift up as high as you're able to. And work your way back down. Good. Take a minute to pull those knees up into the ribs. Hands come to the knees. We're pointing the toes and flexing the feet. Pointing and flexing. This is a really simple move, but it helps a lot with the different muscles and joints that are major players in our balance. So we're strengthening the shins, the calves, the ankles, the feet, the arches. If you are prone to shin splints, or if you're a runner, taking a couple minutes each day to do these or to do a standing calf raise is really helpful. Good, we've got 3 more sets. Nice job. We're on to a lane spinal twist. So we'll be extending our right leg all the way down. The left knee draws up into the ribs. Take your left toes and separate them away from each other so that you're getting a stretch through the toes. Relaxing the toes, send your arm out to a T or a goalpost. Take that knee, cross it up and over just far enough so that the hips are stacked. The left hip is directly on top of the right hip. Take a minute to anchor or sink down through your left shoulder blade, and then turn the head to the left, looking over the fingers. Turning the head back to center, bring the hip down, switching sides. The left leg extends, the right knee draws up. Stretch through the toes, letting those toes move away from each other. Good, relaxing the toes. Arms come out to the side, cross that knee up and over. Remembering it's not important that your foot touches the ground or that your knee touches the ground. We're simply stacking the hips. Turn your head to the right, looking away from the legs. Good, the head comes back to center. Bring the hip back down. Knees are bent, soles of the feet are on the mat. Go ahead and rest your hands on your belly or next to your body, either way, as we're getting ready to start our breathing practice today. This is something that I sometimes refer to as stair-step breath because it resembles the idea of going down a flight of stairs. So start by drawing a full inhale through the nose, and then we're exhaling in sections. So do a tiny breath out and then pause. Exhale, pause, exhale, pause. Keep doing that until you're completely out of air. And then draw a full nonstop breath in through the nose. And do that same thing. Exhale, pause, exhale, pause, exhale, pause. Like you're going down those stairs. Continue with this breath for a couple more cycles. The purpose of this breath is that we've almost tripled the amount of our exhale compared to the inhale. And this is what starts to signal the body to relax. The parasympathetic nervous system starts to take over. The heart rate slows down, the blood pressure drops. It's very calming if you have anxiety or if you're feeling stressed, and the body starts to relax and restore. So we'll go through 2 more of those breath cycles, breathing in through the nose, and then exhale in sections. And one final time, draw a full non-stop breath in through the nose. Breathing out in little sections. Once you finish that breath, extend your legs all the way down onto the ground. Arms are next to the body, palms are up, as we're getting ready for Shavasana, our final relaxation. Remember to have a watch nearby or to set a timer. The goal is about 7 minutes, maybe 10 if you've got the time today. Somewhere between 7 and 10 minutes, we're laying here on the mat. Eyes are closed. We're sinking down, feeling heavy and relaxed, coming back to a nice deep breath in and out through the nose. Thank you.